on? It's your boy Trespit here, and today I figured I'd start off a new series, basically just doing commentary videos. Back in the past when I first started watching YouTube videos, commentary videos were actually really popular, and then they kind of fell by the wayside, and now they're kind of making their triumphant return, if you will. So I'm pretty excited. I've actually never done any commentary videos. I've just watched a whole bunch of them, and so I figured it'd be cool to do. But also the main reason I really wanted to do that as well was just to kind of give you guys a little bit of insight into my life, who I am, on a personal level. That way you guys kind of get to know me better. And that way you can feel like, oh, like I'm not just subscribing or watching this random dude, on YouTube. I'm watching a guy that I know. I feel like I know, and through my personal stories and just listening to these videos, and you can kind of get a sense for who I am and kind of where I came from. And also, to kind of give insight into, future gaming news and stuff like that. I figured I'd do some commentaries for that as well. And, like what's going on in the YouTube scene, in the gaming community and whatnot. Yeah, so today I figured I'd start off with my first video being about the time I broke my ankle. So I was probably about 10 or 12 at the time. And we had just moved to Colorado Springs, Colorado. My dad moved around a lot for work. And so we probably moved about 10 times throughout the 10 or 11 times throughout the time I was about 13 and younger. So we probably moved about once every year. You could average it about once every year and a half-ish almost. But yeah, so we just moved to Colorado Springs, Colorado. We've been there for probably about, I'd say about a year now, maybe a little over a year, about a year really. And I just moved out of the rental house that we lived in, called Bill's house, which he was our landlord, obviously. Which I didn't know that at the time. My past self was very dumb, and I was a kid. I didn't really think about it. But yeah, so we just moved into our new house. We just bought it brand new. It was in a nice neighborhood, and there was a bunch of kids in the neighborhood too, right on my street actually. So it was really easy for me to make up a whole bunch of new friends. And I was only like a 5-minute bike ride from my old neighborhood as well. So it's not like I was that far away from my old friends that I couldn't see them as well. And plus we all went to the same school. So basically our squad just got bigger. Like our crew just got a lot bigger. That's pretty much it. I think we gained at least 7 to 10 people within the first day, and a bunch later on because we all just made new friends. But yeah, so anyway, my best friend in the whole wide world at the time, Justin, he actually lived right next door to me, and I was still really close to my old friend Jacob, who lived behind me at Bill's house. But anyway, so it was summertime. Summer was actually getting close to an end, so school was going to be starting soon. So we'd normally do stuff outside, play capture the flag, or play kick the can. Kick the can was actually our favorite game. I really like capture the flag too, but we kind of did that more like in the wooded area, and some of our parents wouldn't always let us out there to the wooded areas, so it depended. My parents didn't care. As long as I told them where I was going, they didn't really care, and whatever. There's also a really cool BMX track behind the high school near my house as well. So we'd go over there every now and then. Most of that was just Jacob, Justin, and I. The three of us would roll over there and on our mongoose bikes, God, and do some small tricks and stuff that we thought we were badasses for the time, but now looking back on it, I was like, oh yeah, it's probably just like small little jumps and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, so we played Kick the Can a lot. That was like our game. And for anyone who doesn't know what Kick the Can is, it's very simplistic. Basically, you had one person that was it. It kind of mixed like freeze tag and hide and go seek into one game. And so you had one person that was it, and they would guard this can. Now they couldn't puppy guard it because puppy guarding, obviously, if anyone knows, is like the biggest sin you could commit as a kid. Like you didn't do it. You'd have one person that was it. They'd be guarding the can. Low key, we'd all puppy guard. We just make it look like we weren't doing it. So little tidbit. But yeah, so you'd have one person that was it. They'd be guarding the can, and everyone else would go run and hide. And so that person that was it would start counting. And then the round ended when somebody, doesn't matter who, as long as it wasn't the person somebody would go and kick the can. But if the person that was it like tagged you, then you basically were put in like this jail that was right next to the can, and you couldn't move out of it. You couldn't do anything until somebody else that was not tagged came and kicked the can and freed everybody. And if someone did kick the can, then the person that was it would obviously be it again. And then if everyone was tagged, then the first person that got tagged was the next person in line to be it, and everything would start all over again. If you are old enough to know what Kick the Can is, but you don't know what Kick the Can is, rip your childhood, because it was one of my favorite childhood games. So yeah. So anyway, so yeah, I was coming outside one day, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to go get, my friends, and we're all going to go play. And so the way it worked when you were a little kid was, and I don't think it works today now just because of soccer moms, but the way it worked was basically you'd go outside, you go to your friend's house, the first person on the row, and you'd go and knock on the door. hey, you want to go? Let's go play games or whatever. And so you just keep on going to the next friend's house in the line, and then basically you'd have your whole squad by the end of it, or at least whoever was gonna actually hang out and do stuff. So we'd all just walk outside and just go, literally like this pack of kids just walking down the street, going to the next house on our list of people that we needed to go recruit. So it was a lot like a recruiting draft kind of style. It was pretty cool. But anyway, so I walked outside expecting to go to my boy Justin's house first, since he was right next door. I'd go hit him up, and then we're going to go all the way down to Sam's house at the very end of the block, and then we'd circle back around and pick up everybody on the other side of the street. Lo and behold, everyone's already outside, and I'm like, all right, cool. So they're all outside, ready. We've got like our gaggle, our squad of guys, and Justin and Sam were actually walking to my house to come get me. So I walked over there, I was like, hey guys, what's going on? And they were like, oh yeah, we're going to go play the can. And I was like, all right, sweet, let's do it. I'm down. 100% always down for kick the can. But yeah, so we're playing a couple rounds in, and it's probably been about an hour now, and one of the houses that Justin and I always like to hit up, at least me personally, and Justin normally always was pretty close by, because we were kind of glued at the hip. Like, we were like best friends. It was one of the houses that they didn't really care, because some of the people cared that we were like on their house, or like, on their porch or whatever, and they get mad or whatever. And you couldn't go in backyards. We'd set base rules, like you couldn't go in the backyards, and you couldn't go inside houses, because that's pretty cheap. And so it was a house that their porch kind of made like an L shape, so like you walked up to their front door, and they had like this like porch thing that you could go, and like they had like a chair or whatever on it, and they had like a railing that enclosed it. So the only way to get into it was through the front main entrance that led to the front door. But they had all these like bushes and trees and stuff that would line the front, so you couldn't see from the porch. You really couldn't see onto the street, and the people from the street obviously really couldn't see onto the porch, which was great for hiding, but also everyone knew about it. Well, the best part about it was that at the very end of the porch, where like the side of the house met, with grass basically, you could jump over that railing, and there was no bush right next to it, so you could jump over it easily, but there was a bush that was kind of guarding, kind of like protecting your field of view, and no one could really see you hop over that. So you could easily just hop the fence, and by fence I mean this tiny little railing. You could hop this railing, and you could crouch down behind this tree or this bush, and you could plan your route and then book it straight to wherever you needed to go. So late in the game, pretty much everyone's tagged except for me, Justin, and this one girl who was kind of new to the neighborhood. And so all of our moms were basically like, oh, make sure you include her. And, her family just moved here, because I'm sure all the moms hung out. And so we were going to go. It was the three of us, and I don't know why this girl decided, I don't remember her name, but for whatever reason, she decided she was going to go just run out and try to kick the can without plotting or planning. Dumb move, never do that. So she ran out there and immediately got tagged by one of the older dudes who was guarding. The dude was, I forgot his name, but he was like one of the older dudes, and so he was pretty quick. And so our plan was, Justin was going to go through the front part of the porch, where the front door, like the little opening between the porch railing and the wall, the side of the house. He was going to go run out that way and then book right and just make this huge circle, like really close to where my house was. So my house was kind of like on the end of the street. He was going to book it like all the way down to our houses and then loop back around, basically kind of distracting the person that was it, to make it look like he was going to try to kick the can, though. He was going to make it basically look like it wasn't a distraction, even though it was. But he was going to try to veer, completely right. Just break hard right. And then I was going to hop over the fence, this little railing that was on the porch. I was going to hop over the railing, duck behind the bush to get some protection, wait until the coast was clear, and then just beeline straight to it. Because this house that we were sitting out, like hiding at, was probably like across the street and one house down from where we were going to kick the can, which was Sam's house. Because that's where we always like set up the camp, was Sam's house. And so, yeah, I was like right there. So we were like, all right, cool. Justin, I'm in. Let's do it. Do what you need to do. And then we didn't really have like a contingency plan. We honestly expected it to work like 100% of the time. We expected this to work. So Justin was like, all right, cool, I'm going to do it. He busted out. He just ran and booked it. Broke straight right and made this huge loop that I didn't even expect him to make that big of a loop, but he did. Because he was fast as fuck. He was fast. And so I was waiting for my moment, and I saw the dude that was it. He walked in front of the bushes, like not like right in front of him, but streetwise he was like in front of him, so he couldn't see me anymore if I hopped over the railing really quick. So here I go. I'm like, like the moment like in movies where like everything slows down, and it's like the deciding moment. Like everything good is about to happen. Like the good guys are about to win, and everything. I hopped over this railing one-handed like a boss. I mean, straight up pro status. Fucking cleared the railing like some parkour god, and then landed right on my ankle. And I landed completely wrong in like the dumbest way possible. I basically landed as if my foot was still kind of turned. So I just snapped the hell out of my ankle. Thankfully, I didn't like, have any like bones protruding. But yeah, I mean, I landed wrong and just broke my ankle. Straight up broke it. Crumbled to the ground. Like that moment in my face where like the pain hit was like that. I was like super excited and amped. I was like, I'm going to free these people. I'm going to let my people, like I'm going to set them free. Like I'm going to get them. I'm going to kick that can and it's going to be over. And then like the moment my foot touched the ground and the sharp shooting pain of death like ran up my leg. I'm like, oh, nope, fuck it. Never mind. And I just crumpled to the ground. And Sam knew where we were because Sam always knows where we are. Like the three of us were pretty close. And so he saw me fall. I mean, just eat shit on the ground, on the grass. And he was like, oh, crap. So he yelled out time, and everyone else, everyone stopped. And he ran over, and he's like, dude, are you okay? Are you all right? And your boy's strong as hell. I wasn't going to cry. Not now. I mean, I had a couple of tears, a little bit. But, I mean, shit, I just broke my ankle, so I expected it. But, I wasn't crying or anything like that. And so I'm sitting there like, dude, oh, my God. And I'm yelling and screaming. I'm like, fuck, I think I broke it. And so he's like, oh crap. So he turns to Jacob, he's like, Justin, Jacob, that was my other buddy. He's like, yo, Justin, run over to Ryan's and go get Nicole's house, or go get Nicole. So Justin books it down to my house, goes to get my sister, and then she comes back. And my sister, bless her soul, was like, oh, you're fine, just stand up, it's fine, no big deal. And I'm like, no, it's broken. Like, I'm not going to stand on this. She's like, no, you're fine. And Sam was like a running back for our middle school football team. And so he's like, dude, or a linebacker, not running back. He was a linebacker for our football team. So he could totally carry me. He was even like, dude, I'll carry him back. It's no big deal. And so he was one of the bigger guys in our group. He was strong. And she was like, no, he's fine. And so she made me stand up, like pulled me up. Older sisters are the worst, in my opinion, when you're younger. Now, I mean, I love her to death now. And I mean, I loved her to death too when I was younger, but I hated her guts when I was younger. So she made me stand up and I put some weight on it. And lo and behold, yup, it fucking hurt. Because that's what I told her, but she didn't want to believe it, I guess. So then I fell back down and I'm like, no, it hurts. No, it's broken. Like, I'm not walking on this. And so, Sam carried me back. He picked me up. I was like, all right, let's go. So he carried me back and I went back to the house. Our mom got home eventually. I think we called her, or maybe she was home or maybe she's at the grocery store running errands. I don't remember, but she was, she was basically home 5 minutes, 10 minutes after I got back. And so, we go to the doctor and yep, I straight up broke the shit out of my ankle. Like your boy fucking broke the hell out of it, which was great. Except for the fact that we were getting a hot tub put in because, winters there are nice and they're cold, and we were getting a hot tub put in like basically right like 2 weeks later, a week later, we were getting a hot tub put in so that we could start using it for the wintertime. So I couldn't use it. Or I was told I couldn't use it. What I did anyway was I wrapped up my cast and my whole entire foot like a plastic bag. So, it was great. Looked like someone was about to chop off my knee basically and ship my parts, my body parts like out in the sea or whatever. But I wrapped that thing up in a plastic bag and like straight up like, just leaned into that hot tub, like almost drowning myself. And it just it was uncomfortable and whatever. But yeah, I almost broke my growth plate actually. And I guess like the doctor was saying that if I had broke my growth plate that like I couldn't, like my leg wouldn't grow right anymore or whatever. And I don't know. But yeah, so I straight broke it. The nice thing about it is that my middle school was actually built into a hill. And so we had 3 stories for the school. And the cafeteria was on the very bottom floor. And then all this, like the actual like classes were on the second and third. And so I had this really cool, well, but you walked into the second, like the ground level was the second level as far as like walking into the front door of the school. But so, I had crutches and I had a cast and I got to use the elevator, which was really cool. So I got an elevator pass and I could have like an elevator buddy. So anyone, like my favorite friend in my class, or in each one of my classes, basically got to leave like 15 minutes early with me or 10 minutes early or something like that. And they would have to carry my books. And we only had them carry my books until we left the class. And then I'd take my shit because I was a man. I was gonna carry my shit. I don't need my buddies carrying my shit for me. And so unless an AP walked by and then I was like, yo, take my bag real quick, and then they take it to make it look like they had a reason to be there, because otherwise they tell them to go back to my class. If I could do it by myself, they don't need to be there, obviously, but I wanted to make sure I got them out. So that was pretty cool. A side note, casts are really itchy. Like my cast was super itchy. Anyone who's never had a cast and never broken like any bone or whatever before and just never had a cast, and you're wondering if like all those movies and TV shows about how like the person's like cast is really itchy, yeah, that's 100% accurate. Like shit gets real itchy real quick. Like I think day 2 or day 3, especially because you can't really wash it. Like, you can't wash your leg or your arm or whatever you broke. Like I broke my ankle, so I had a cast basically all the way up to my knee, almost like high shin. Like it was all the way up there. So you can't really wash it because you can't get the cast wet. And so, yeah, I mean, you're basically just kind of stuck for like 3 months, 4 months or whatever, like just down and out. And your leg gets real, like my leg got super itchy. So I was like finding like coat hangers and pencils, whatever I could use to itch the fuck out of that, like my leg, I would use. So yeah, anyone who's ever wondered if that kind of stuff in TV shows and stuff like that is true and they've never broken a bone, highly recommend breaking a bone, by the way. Just be smart about it. No, don't really break a bone. That's probably actually gonna be super painful. But yeah, no, it's true. Like casts get really itchy 3 days, 4 days in. Like it gets super fucking itchy. So yeah, now that's the story about how I broke my ankle. Hope you guys enjoyed. I've got plenty more stories. I have so many stories from all over. I've lived in 3-4 different states and a couple different neighborhoods, and some crazy stuff has happened. I've gotten into trouble before, so I've got plenty of stories to tell you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know in the comment section down below any cool stuff that you guys did, or if you guys did break a bone, let me know in the comment section below what you guys broke and how long you were out for, and yeah. And what color cast you had. My cast was red. Obviously, my favorite color is red. So my cast was naturally going to be red. And, I had like all my friends sign it or whatever. But yeah, so if you ever broken a bone, let me know in the comment section down below what you broke and what color cast you wore and how long you were out for and if it really sucked or not. But don't forget to subscribe. That way you stay up to date. And yeah, I think that's it.